Testing 1, 2, 3. All right. Hopefully, I think we have this going here. All right. I think that works. For everyone who's just jumping on with us, we are currently streaming on YouTube and on TikTok, hanging out, answering any questions about 911 dispatching. I know I tried this yesterday on YouTube for a very, very short time, but I wanted to be able to do it on both of these platforms in order to get more and more people on here answering questions. Kennedy on YouTube, hello, hi. Hi, Kennedy. How are we coming through on YouTube? I haven't done this like live streaming thing on YouTube just yet. And I know there's a lot of value on YouTube, a lot of followers. So I wanted to start implementing this live chat hangout on YouTube as well. So let me know, Kennedy, how it's coming through. If we need to try to adjust anything. I need to mute my my wallpaper here. I got my cute little wallpaper that makes noises. Let's mute that. For anyone who's just jumping on with us, we are just hanging out. Probably going to be hanging out for about an hour or so, just answering any questions about 911 dispatching. I'm trying to do the streaming thing much more. I really truly enjoy it. You guys get to hang out, learn from each other, ask questions, meet each other virtually. We had a couple Georgia dispatchers jump on yesterday, and they were able to connect, send each other friend requests and vibe out. So I think it's so cool. Kennedy looks and sounds great. Thank you so much, Kennedy, for hanging out with us on YouTube. Yeah, so for everyone who's just jumping on with us, we're just hanging out, answering any questions about 911 dispatching you may have. If you want to jump on and join as a guest and come on and like say your piece, you can definitely do that as well. But we're just hanging out, answering any questions about 911 dispatching anybody got. If you are a current dispatcher, feel free to throw the state you're dispatching from in the chat and how many years you've been dispatching so we can say hello from California. Okay, I'm glad that it's able to go for YouTube and TikTok. I get a lot of, interactions on TikTok right now when I go live. So definitely having them both be able to stream at the same time is pretty cool to me. And what's cool about the streaming on YouTube, I think, is that it'll live there. So I'm gonna leave our little hour sessions on our YouTube channel. So if anyone wants to go back and watch the conversations, they can definitely do that through our YouTube channel, which is also the Raspy Dispatcher. Selena, I love you. You give me hope with dispatching. I also scheduled on your website for next Monday. Hey, very cool. I just sent out the email for unpacking the process. That is our free monthly webinar that we host. It is an informational session for folks who are considering becoming 911 dispatchers, folks who are early in the process, who want to learn a little more about the job in general or the application process. It's an hour-long session. We do like a little presentation, and it's kind of like this. I do my little presentation, my little slide deck, I got my spiel, but any questions that come up during it, we're stopping, we're asking, we're interacting with each other for that hour for the free. All right, it is a free monthly resource. I think we got about 10 people registered for this coming Monday, August 25th. If you haven't registered, if it's something you're interested in, you can head to theraspydispatcher.com and register for that now. And I'll send you a little Zoom link and we'll hop on and chat. So that is next Monday at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. So definitely check that out, Selena. I look forward to hanging out with you Monday during that session. Kennedy on YouTube in the application process in Oregon, waiting on critical test sometime this week. Very, very cool, Kennedy. Definitely. I mean, you're on YouTube, so obviously you're checking out all of our resources for the critical test and all that good stuff. Definitely practice those videos. Check that out. And good luck in your next part of that process. Very, very cool, Kennedy. Cass, Kentucky State Police dispatcher here, 8.5 years. Very cool. I hear state police. Maybe it's just for police. I don't know if it's for dispatchers as well. Have really good benefits. Like for your guys's, what are they, troopers? That they have a very like short time span to have to put on. They have to do like 15 years or something like that. Or it was like 10 years. I had a state officer come into my podcast, and I remember it was really good. It was like a really quick service, and then they get like full benefits. Am I misremembering that? I'm just curious. And I wonder if so, does that translate to the dispatchers as well? Because that'd be awesome if it did. Awesome. For everyone who's just jumping on with us, we're just hanging out, answering any questions about 911 dispatching you may have. We are on TikTok. We are on YouTube. Just answering any questions that anyone may have about this process. Let me see if I can get a little more control with the YouTubes. We're trying to, do this every week, a couple times a week. Jump on here, have conversations about dispatching, answer any questions, connect with folks. So anything you guys got, throw it in the chat. We'll do our best to get you an answer here. Selena, I have to turn in my background paperwork for SF for by the second next month. Hey, that's a lot of paperwork, so make sure you're diligently working on that. And you know what? The earlier you get it in, the better. Not that you need to rush, but something you have to think about is if they're hiring multiple dispatchers, whoever's paperwork like hits first and gets cleared first, they have the higher number in seniority. It's a very like petty thing that you don't think about. But for example, my last agency, me and my coworker, we started on the same day, but I had the higher badge number because my paperwork cleared first. So when we signed up for our schedule, I got to pick first because I was higher in seniority. So you always want to move through any paperwork, any process quickly and diligently, A, because it's just polite, and B, for that seniority factor. Cass, 20 to 25 years, typically 25. Benefits are fantastic. It's different from count for country agencies, right? I just feel like I've heard really good benefits for that agency, which is very, very, very cool. 25 years, crazy. Congratulations. No joke. 22, 25. Yeah, so that's not a lot. That's not a lot. That's not a lot of years on. That's pretty cool. The camera angles on TikTok. Hopefully that's a good thing. I'm trying to get the angles right. Make it look as aesthetically pleasing as possible. Like I was saying yesterday, I only have like my stock camera, and then I have this little like what is this, like a 0.15 millimeter, but it kind of distorts it a little bit. It makes it a little like woo woo. I don't know how to describe it. So I could get the camera closer, but it looks like distorted and not clean. So I do need a better lens, like a 16 millimeter lens, but it's like $1,000, and your girl ain't got that right now. So we're gonna, thank you so much for the heart. We're gonna be at this distance with these fun angles for a little bit. For everybody just hanging out, we're just answering any questions about 911 dispatching you may have. We're on TikTok right now. We're on YouTube as well. If you don't follow us on YouTube, you should, because that is where it all began. If you have any questions, throw it in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer them. McKenna, I'm so grateful for your resources. They help me so much. I'm so happy that they have helped you. It's always really interesting to connect with folks because I put out a lot of stuff, right? Out in the world, on the internet consistently, but I don't get to interact with you guys, you know? That's why I love going to conferences, because I get to meet folks in person and talk to them and get to have that in person connection. So hearing that these resources, these little reels, informational videos have helped you, that's means a lot to me, you know? I really do enjoy and appreciate that. Maryland, work in DC since 1999, okay? I was 9. What I love about folks who've been doing dispatch for that long is how mind-blowing to see the transformation in dispatch. I mean, I think folks who utilize our services when they're in an emergency, there's a level of like, this is supposed to be here, right? Like this is a service we just have. But the reality is 911 is so young, so in its infancy, right? And yet it has made so many changes from technology, so on and so forth. So starting this job, and I say all the time, I don't know, I don't think I could do this job pre tech. You know what I mean? Like it's a tough job with technology. I couldn't imagine doing it without it. So props to you, man. 1999. What is the rule of thumb when calling 911? Is it location, what you need, and then describe it? So the rule of thumb when you are having to call 911 to receive services is to listen to the questions being asked of you. We are always, always, always first gonna get that location, because if all else fails, if that line disconnects, if we get nothing further from you about why you dialed those 3 little digits, we at least have a place to send initial help. So we're going to verify that location. I don't know where you are. I'm going to ask you for a complete address. I'm going to ask you for an intersection. I'm going to ask you for an identifying business, what's around you, things of that nature if you're having a hard time giving an exact location. Then from there, we're going to start working through the nitty gritty of it, right? Why are you calling? Police, fire, medical. If it's a medical complaint, I'm going to ask a couple different questions, get you over to medical, or if I'm a medical dispatcher, I'll go through my spiel while help's on the way. If it's a police issue, I'm trying to figure out things like, is this in progress? Is this actually a report that can happen later? What's going on? A lot of times when folks are in an emergency, and this is folks in general, me too, when I'm out there in the world, not at work, we believe we know what's important. I want to tell you XYZ because I need you to know. But just let the dispatcher ask the questions, and they're going to get you that help as quickly as possible. Let us guide you, you know. I think that's the best way to partner with your dispatcher during that emergency is let us drive the car, because then it gets the right help there quickly as possible. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. We had 11 people hanging out with us. We had 102 likes on the live. Don't forget to like the live currently. Liking the live lets people know that we're in here talking, and it tells TikTok to invite them in. Yeah, if you're listening on YouTube, definitely like the live over there as well. And don't forget to throw any questions into the chat on whatever platform you're hanging out with. We're gonna try to get your questions answered here. Brandy Brat 44. I have 11 years experience, but not consecutive. Impossible to walk away from the headset for good. I hear that. Someone was on yesterday and was like, I'm almost at retirement. And I was like, don't bring your ass back here per diem. Stay away. It's so hard to walk away from this line of work once you're in it, right? But if you're at a point where you're retiring, where you're burnt out and you need a break, like don't be afraid to pivot, you know? Don't be afraid to walk away. It is a wonderful job. It is a great job, but gotta take care of ourselves. And you gotta enjoy your time off. You know, you gotta enjoy your time off. Will Money, hello, hello, Will. McKenna, thank you so much for the donut. I appreciate that. And Brandy, thank you for the rose. It's great for those of us who started dispatching at 20 or 21 like myself. Yes. So I'm going to probably say this a lot like the other day, especially the more and more I come and do live streams. But that's one of the big reasons I promote this job. You know, I have my undergrad and graduate degrees in administration of justice, not needed for this line of work. But for folks who are not really excited about going to college or not sure what they want to do as far as investing in a degree, this is a great entry level job that they're going to train you on the job how to do it, where you make good benefits, you get decent money. And I know that's a big fluctuation depending where you're dispatching. That's a whole nother debate for a whole nother time. But you can do this job, start earning those retirements, earning those benefits that you don't think about when you're young, you know, without any degree, higher ed, anything like that. And then you can go back and get those degrees when you figure out what you want to do in life, what you want to use those things for. So, thank you so much for the gifts, you guys. Really, really appreciate it. But yeah, getting into this career, like if I were to go do it all again, man, I would slide into dispatch a whole lot sooner. A whole lot sooner than I did. And I'm 7 years in, right? Is it live echoing for anyone else too? That's a great question. Is it echoing? Small echo, but TikTok talks. I'm going to try to turn it down a little bit. Let me know if that helps. This is my first time streaming on two platforms for this long. So yeah, let me know if there's continued issues with the sound. I'll do my best to make some adjustments if possible. Let me see if I can hear it in my little headsets. This headset looks like crazy, so I don't like wearing it. It looks like I'm DJing. Fun fact, I DJ'd in college. My name was DJ Squeak. Okay, I don't think I hear an echo, but let me know if that helps. Let me know if that helps. What's your YouTube? My YouTube is the Raspy Dispatcher. Everything on every platform is always going to be the Raspy Dispatcher on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. YouTube is actually where we all started for the Raspy Dispatcher. So definitely check it out if you have not. I think we're approaching, I want to say 8,000 followers on there. 8 or 9,000. I can't remember, but would love to get, that platform to be in the tens and 20,000s, of people checking out what we got going on. So definitely, if you don't subscribe over there, do so ASAP. Small echo, but TikTok's known for that. Try and reload the stream. Okay, cool. No more dot matrix printers. I'm saying, like, I could, man, y'all dispatchers who were doing it back then, I couldn't. I just, I couldn't do it. I'm just outside of Nashville, started in 2000, had some gaps, but got 11 years experience through agencies. Very, very cool. We're going to be in Tennessee for the Denise Amber Lee conference in January. They're going to be holding it in Knoxville again. So we're going to kick off the new year at that conference, vendoring, hanging out with folks in Tennessee. So yeah, that's going to be a really, 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 really fun and good time. I want to think of a nice checklist if it's an immediate situation, as if I'm doing CPR as a call. Yeah, I feel like, Nina probably has some type of like predetermined checklist. They have a lot of resources on their website if you haven't checked there. But yeah, it looks different for each agency if you're using it as a training tool. But I personally, I always want that location. If it's a crime in progress, I always want to know where the person who is causing the harm is. If they're on foot, if they're in a vehicle, if they're in a vehicle, I want the vehicle first, so my officers can be looking for it. If they're on foot, I want that description of them first, so they can be looking for them. So yeah, it kind of depends on each situation. You got to know your limit. When it's time to go, it's time to go. Hey, ain't that the truth, you know? And I say that too, to young dispatchers as well. If you put 5 years in and you're like, I'm done. I don't know how people do it for 25 years. Thank you for your 5 years. You know what I mean? Like, thank you for your 5 years. Thank you for your year. Like, any amount of time that you give to 911, that you give to the community in that way, it should be and is appreciated. For everyone who's just hanging out with us, thank you so much for jumping on here in the middle of the afternoon. Excuse me. Chatting about 911 dispatching. We're answering any questions you may have. Throw it into the chat. Don't forget to like the live. We're at about 400 likes. About 12 people hanging out with us. DJ Sparkle, thank you so much for the follow. I don't know if you guys heard me slip that in there. DJ Squeak. In college, Forest City, Iowa. Had my little turntable, my little DJ deck. Amazing time. We're just answering any questions about 911 dispatching you may have. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. Just hanging out. Hoping to continue to interact with you folks and get you some questions answered here. Don't forget to like that live. It lets people know we are chatting away. Hubby's job took us to Germany for 6 years, and I changed agencies after 17 years. Jump. Heck yeah. Germany, well, how cool. You know, we're planning to, we got our passports, so we're planning to do some international traveling in the next year or so. So, very, very cool. And good, Virginia, 33 years. Hey, W's in the chat for Virginia, 33 years. Congratulations. Thank you so much for 33 years of answering 911. Reagan, 3 years in, started at 19. Currently at my second agency in Jefferson County, Georgia. So someone on here the other day was like, oh, you know, my issue is dealing with 18-year-olds right now, hiring 18-year-olds. And, you know, I really hope we can shift that kind of, you know, ageism maybe, process. Like 18-year-old Ashley could do this job. You know, everyone brings different life experiences and things to the table. So I am a big fan of hiring anyone who is ready and willing to step up and learn this tough job. Thank you guys so much for continuing to like the live. We're at about 800 likes on TikTok. Thank you so much for continuing to like the live. We're still hanging out on YouTube as well, which I think is freaking cool. So thank you so much for hanging out. If you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to throw any questions into the chat so we can get some answers for you. No echo here, no echo here. Okay, cool. Perfect. Is it always this hard to wait to see if you'll get an offer? Been waiting 12 days since CPI exam. Yes, McKenna. It is always this hard to wait for the offer. It's kind of one of the downfalls of trying to get into this line of work, which is waiting for that reply. And that's for a lot of reasons. That the agency can't control and someday can. But, you know, there's a lot of different departments. You know, there's HR, there's third parties who are doing the polygraphs, the backgrounds, etc. So it's a lot of hurry up and wait. So hang in there, be patient. Hopefully you'll hear something soon. Christine, I'm a pre-call taker academy right now from Florida. I've been there for a month. Very, very cool. So I imagine you're like in an academy setting and then you're going to hit the floor for some one-on-one training. I love that I think that whenever departments can implement a academy setting, they should. It is definitely a way to, slow roll people's knowledge, exposure into the realities of this job. And I know that every agency does not have the capacity to take people off the floor, put them in an academy setting. But the fact that you're able to receive that type of training is really good. It's I think the best way to introduce our trainees to this line of work. Thank you guys so much for continuing to like the live. We have like 11 folks hanging out with us right now, almost at 1,000 likes. Don't forget to continue to tap that live so people can come join us, continue to have this conversation with us as we start really, going live on YouTube, going live on TikTok, really opening the door to conversations about 911 dispatching. We're all here for it. And good, thank you, Yvette. You're so welcome, Anne. Thank you so much for your service. I always feel weird saying, like, thank you for your service, but I don't know another statement to say. Thank you for answering 911. That sounds weird, too. Thank you so much for answering 911. A lot of people, we need more people doing it. Thoughts on state police versus local that does everything. We had, I have always worked police, full police agency, city police here. And I just went to an agency that does fire as well. So I'm learning to fire dispatch, which is really cool. And we third party for our medical stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoy learning the new fire discipline. Fire is a little more regimented than policing. Like, they do the same thing every single time, no matter if it's like a bush on fire or a building on fire. So they're very predictable in a way, which is nice. But I like the freestyling that happens on police radio, police dispatch. So I don't know. I think it looks different for everybody, depending on what, lights their fires. But yeah, I mean, I don't deal with state police out here where I live specifically. So I don't know if anyone's listening and has an answer for state police versus local. Please feel free to throw that answer in the chat, or send a request, and I'll let you come on and chat with me. Let's see. Would sharing a pill from my Klonopin prescription last year with my friend who was having a panic attack be a hard DQ? She had her own script for Xanax, but it had expired. I wouldn't say it would be a hard DQ. In regards to like specific situations, I cannot say indefinitely anything either way, right? But what I can tell you is that you have to be honest about any question that is being asked of you, to the fullest extent, right? Don't overthink the question. Just answer questions honestly that are being asked of you. And when you do give that answer in your background process, you get the opportunity to talk about the incident. And then you have to let them know the whole situation of what happened with this example that you gave. And then backgrounds, I have been saying this a lot lately, are very, very, very similar to dating. You could fail a background at one agency who might believe that example is a hard DQ for them. Whereas another agency will go, yeah, that's not a big deal for us. We're going to accept it. So if you fail backgrounds at one agency, don't feel like you can't continue to apply to another because the backgrounds is very finicky. It really depends on the agency and what they got going on. So I couldn't say for sure that being a hard DQ because it just depends on the agency and what their level of forgiveness is, for lack of a better word. So definitely don't let that knowledge prevent you from giving it a shot. Awesome. I'm so glad we're getting some questions off YouTube as well. Like I said, it's the first time streaming on YouTube for this kind of live stream session. I really wanted to do it yesterday as well, but TikTok was playing me. They were like, you got to go live at least one more time on here before you get access to be able to put the cameras on both. So I'm so glad that we're able to jump on here as well. Thank you. You are so welcome. I'm so glad you were able to jump on and ask that question, which is one of the reasons that we do stream live. Is I do get a lot of people leaving comments, especially on YouTube, asking questions, and your girl's working full time. So I try my best to respond to everybody. But I don't always get those opportunities, which is why going live is great. Having our monthly webinar is a wonderful way as well. But just to be able to ask questions and get some answers, it's really a fun way of doing it. I feel like if EMT doesn't work out for me, I might do dispatching, but not a fast typer at all. Yeah, start working on those typing abilities. Typing is just one of those things we need in life in 2025, right? So just start working on it now. Maybe it'll come to fruition if you do end up moving into dispatch. Here's my idea. If I'm doing a CPR, I'm here doing CPR on blah blah, need help. Yeah, this is my location. I'm doing CPR. That's a great way to start a medical call for sure. It's your first time. Yes, I am learning the words for the TikTok. I haven't gotten any flags, at least that I know where to see. But I appreciate that. Thank you for that feedback. Let's see. Can we get a little? We're gonna do some adjusting here. There we go. All right. For everyone who's just hanging out with us, we are just hanging out, answering any questions about 911 dispatching you may have. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. Just answering any questions. Don't forget to continue liking that live so we can continue getting lots of folks in here answering any questions you may have. TikTok loves getting the wholesome ones and somehow leaves the crazy accounts. I believe that, man. I believe that. I think yesterday we did for like an hour and a half. We did twice. I jumped on twice yesterday. Mama Salty Heffa, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. And I think we got up to like 20K likes or something like that. Like, it was crazy. It was so cool. So cool. For everyone just hanging out with us, don't forget to like that live. We're just hanging out. Answering any questions about 911 dispatching you may have. 911 channel as well. Was a dispatcher for 10 years. I'm glad to see others in the industry giving insight. Dispatcher, very, very cool. I'm going to check out your channel. Hello from a fellow dispatcher. I always love seeing more and more folks getting on here talking about 911 dispatching. We need it. We need to have these conversations, and not just we need you to come work for us, but we need to have the conversations within the industry with folks who are doing it so we can improve our centers that are struggling a bit. We definitely need that. Speaking of, hey, I was a dispatcher, but the toxicity, hostile workplace, and negativity pushed me. Just like literally, Aubrey took the words right out of my mouth. This is a reality that happens in our centers. Um, and we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it, got to make changes. I know one of the biggest things that I think I've been saying more and more often is there's a lot of things, especially as frontline. I mean, I'm a new supervisor, so I'm closer to non-supervisor than supervisor space. Is that there's a lot of things we can't control as frontline dispatch, but there is a lot of things that we can control. And if we spend so much time focusing on the things we can't control, we're just going to feed into that toxicity, right? So, to the best that you can, focus on things you can control while having direct, constructive conversations, challenging those who can't control the other things to make those changes. But I definitely think that, toxicity in our centers is a valid complaint, concern. I Are you okay? I don't know if you guys heard my dogs like choking on their bone. You good? Yeah, you're embarrassing us. Okay, get it together. But it's definitely a valid concern, and which is why for aspiring dispatchers, not all agencies are built the same, right? Not all agencies are built the same, and you really have to take your career and your future like in your hands when you are going through these hiring processes. I know that we are really concerned about landing the job and being able to secure employment, which is important. But if you secure employment at a terrible center because they haven't acknowledged that the culture needs to change, you're going to burn out. You're probably not going to want to stay there. So do that work. Ask those tough questions early, even if it means passing up on a center. Trust your gut. Trust your gut. Reality, unfortunately, that's one of the main reasons I left. I'm saying we don't need people to leave for that. That's a fixable issue, right? Like that's a fixable issue. The advantage is that our city is so small that the police come so fast and the dispatchers are so fast. Yeah, that is a great thing. What advice can you give for new dispatchers? So much. So much advice. If you haven't checked out our YouTube channel, make sure to do so. The Raspy Dispatcher on YouTube. I have my podcast there with over 100 episodes. It's Let's Talk Dispatch podcast, where I'm interviewing dispatchers, interviewing companies who deal with dispatch, talking about their realities and talking about what it's like for them, the good, the bad, everything in between. So I would suggest just listening to that podcast so you can hear it from the folks who are in it, doing it, have done it for X amount of years. Start there. And then I have a bunch of other playlists that talk about, the job, the application process, things of that nature, all on YouTube. But the biggest advice for our dispatcher trainees is to give yourself grace. There will be days that you feel like you can't do anything right, that you will snowball, and all the things that everyone's telling you is just negative, negative, negative. Everyone hates you. No one wants you to succeed. Like, that's what it'll feel like. But that's not the reality. The reality is that we want you to be successful. We want time off. We want you to be a good shift partner. And the only way to do that is to constantly critique you when you're in training. So give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. I was an EMT and dispatcher for EMS and helicopter. I've been out 4 years and miss it. I bet. I just had the opportunity to fly with a local agency on their helicopter for like an hour to be able to see like what resources they can provide us in dispatch, what resources they can provide our units. Very, very cool. Very, very cool, by the way. Yeah, Very, very cool. Very cool experience. I appreciate all of our dispatchers. Thank you. We appreciate that. We really, really do. For everyone who's hanging out with us, don't forget to like the live on whatever platform you are jumping in and viewing us from. We really do appreciate it. Today I received my Raspy Dispatcher stickers to give to my crew. Very, very cool. Thank you so much for grabbing some stickers for us. I'm about to put out a new sticker. I haven't responded to you. Sorry, Melanie. I haven't responded to you. But I think this sticker will be a good one. I'll give you guys a sneak peek since we're hanging out here. Since we friends. Let's see if I can show this. Let's see. Can you guys see this? Let's see. Ooh, I survived 911 dispatcher training. I'm gonna drop this probably next month. Isn't that so fun? I'm so glad you're able to grab some stickers. We have a bunch of merch if anyone's interested at theraspydispatcher.com. We're going to re-up a lot of our merch as well. I think we need a little upgrade. I like this little sticker, little shirt, but I think we need a lot of upgrades, just a refresh. But all the merch is, I love our stickers. Okay, well, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We have still have some of our first challenge coins left. If you're a challenge coin individual, we still have a few of these left hanging out. And when you buy a challenge coin, you get one of our Because stickers as well. This is the favorite, I think, Because sticker. Yeah. And then we have all of our dispatch themed stickers. This is our ma'am. What is the location? I'm just going to show a few because then I feel sales pitchy. There's no crying in dispatch. It's another one of our stickers. And then I'll do two more. This is our chaos managed. Oh, what's upside down? Chaos managed, a little Harry Potter vibe. And then I run on caffeine. Come on. I run on caffeine and chaos. So there's a bunch of stickers on theraspydispatcher.com if you need some stickers. Or we got shirts, we got we got all the good stuff. Why are you staring at me, pup? There you go. Lay down. There we go. Yeah. So definitely check out theraspydispatcher.com if you haven't for all of our good stuff. And shout out Teresa. Thank you so much. Jen, 2.5 years in, I'm going to say this wrong, Gowder. And I love my job. I love it. Thank you so much. 2 years? 2.5 years? Tell me, Jen. Time flew, right? Like, time flies so quickly. How much does a dispatcher make a year? So that definitely varies where you are, what state, what location. I would say on average here in Cali, out of training pay, I'm thinking you're at least 70, 80s and up. Like that's bottom of the pay scale. Let's see what Google says about averages. Average 911 dispatcher salary. But yeah, I'd say in California, I mean, your base pay starting baby dispatcher, you're probably in the 70s or 80s and up. And that's in Cali. I imagine it's different. Let's see. Let's go look at governmentjobs.com right now. Let's see. Governmentjobs.com. Okay. So let's see. All right, we're going to go California. We're going to go 911 dispatcher. I think I can share this on the screen. So let's see. Okay, here we go. I'm going to try to share this. I think this is a great question. And I think this question also kind of stems to like the conversation about first responder recognition across the board, so there can be a little more consistency with how much we are being paid. Window capture. Hold on, guys. I'm not very quick with this yet. Let's see. Let's see if I can get this on the screen. Sorry, YouTube. I don't think they'll show you because I'm using TikTok stuff, but I'll read it out loud if I can get it to actually go. Let's see. Can you guys see that? Where is it? Okay. All right. So I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm pretty sure you can, but this is governmentjobs.com. Pretty much if you're looking for a dispatcher job, go here. Most agencies utilize this resource. I just typed in 911 dispatcher, California, and here's some openings, right? City of Stockton, full-time probationary. All right. It doesn't like me sharing this thing, so we're gonna take this off here. Okay, it didn't like that. So let's am I still here with you guys? All right. Well, it didn't like that I was sharing that content for some reason. So, we're learning on TikTok. But so Stockton, full-time probationary, 75 is the bottom, 95 is the top. Sheriff, County of Sacramento County, 70 to 85. Gilroy, this is a lateral, so if you already have experience, you can come in at 97, pretty much 98,000. A bottom step, top step, 137,000, right? So, yeah, California, pretty good for entry level, but that might look different in other states, other locations. But government job is a great place to go to figure out what's going on around your area and what those prices look like. Thank you guys so much for continuing to hang out, chat with me. I'm going to be on for another like 15, 20 minutes or so. Don't forget to like that live so everyone can continue to be told to come in here. I'm assuming my appeal went through. We were just giving salaries out, TikTok. Okay? Relax. How do hours and schedules work? So hours and schedules for dispatchers work depending on the agency. Every agency looks a little different. Some agencies I've heard of are still working 5/8, which think is crazy for this line of work personally. But a lot of agencies are either working 4/10s, so you get 3 days off every week, or they work 3/12s. 1 week, and then the next week you work those 3/12s in 1 8-hour day. So every other week you get 4 days off. Now, staffing is a ongoing issue in 911, and it is quite possible that instead of enjoying your days off, you will be working overtime. So that is definitely a question to ask when you're going through the process of what does scheduling look like at that agency. Are they severely understaffed? What that looks like. It's a great question to ask when going through the process to make sure you know what you're signing up for and you're ready to commit to that type of staffing environment. Thank you guys so much. This has been so fun. I think this is actually pretty cool. I think I'll maybe do this stream on both of these platforms more often. And I think the more we do it, I think the more traction we'll get on YouTube as well, getting more questions asked, from both these platforms, which I think is really, really cool. Yeah, for anyone who's just hanging out with us still, we're gonna hang out for another 10 minutes. I said I'd be on here an hour, answering any questions about 911 dispatching. And we'll get your questions answered. Feel free to like the live, throw any questions into the chat. We'll do our best to get you some answers. We worked a lot of overtime. Yeah, I mean, it is definitely reality when getting into this line of work that you will work overtime. It is a unicorn to be at an agency that is fully staffed. So if you want to work a lot, you want to save up, buy a house, enter that next tax bracket. We got work for you. We got hours for you. That is one great thing about dispatching. But also, you gotta protect yourself. You gotta take care of yourself. Make sure that you are working time off into your schedule because it's needed. You need to be able to do it. So definitely that there as well. Very, very cool. For everyone who's just jumping on, we're just hanging out for another 10 minutes or so, answering any questions about 911 dispatching you may have. Feel free to throw it in the chat, and we'll try to get you an answer here. We have almost 1,000 likes on this live, which is very, very, very cool. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Yeah, I think we're just gonna do this more. I'm sure, my partner would say that, I love to hear my voice anyways. So this is probably a great setup for me. Thank you guys so much for continuing to like the live. We have surpassed 1,000 likes, which is very, very, very cool. Oregon, and in September will be 20 years in dispatch. Hey, congrats, sis. Very, very, very cool. 20 years, no joke. We actually just went to Oregon, me and Claudia. We did a day trip, my first ever day trip, which is you get on a plane at like 8 a.m. to go visit a city, and then you get on the night flight back that same night. It's like a bus route on things I probably can't say on TikTok. But really enjoyed it. We went out there for Oregon Pride for the day and got to see this band that we like on TikTok, and we actually got to meet them too. So that was a lot of fun. So I really enjoyed Oregon, even if it was for a day. It was really, really a good time. I have my first interview next Wednesday, and I've seen all your videos. Super helpful. Awesome. I'm so glad you found our videos. Heck no. Any other last minute advice? Be yourself. Be yourself. You don't want to be hired in a place that you have to pretend to be something you're not. So be your true, authentic self in that interview, as well as when you're asked a question and you're looking for a memory, an instance to show this strength, this whatever, it doesn't always have to be work related. I think a lot of times when we're in a job interview, we want a job situations, but the reality is that we learn just as much from life as we do any job experience. So if the example of you managing conflict is the first time you've lived with someone who wasn't your family, talk about that time. If the first time you had to multitask in an emergency was, when grandma had a medical emergency and you were the only one home, tell us about that. So don't get so caught up in wanting to show the job example. There is a lot of life learned lessons just out there every day in the world as well. So don't forget about that. That would be my last minute advice. There's some really great places to go in Oregon. Yeah, no, it was really, really cool. I really enjoyed it. I'm sure we'll be going back. I'm sure we'll be going back. Adriana, thanks. You're so welcome. Good luck. You're not going to leave luck. I'm going to change that. Sending you all the good vibes for your interview. You're going to rock it. Ah, this is so wonderful. I love doing this. This is great. All right, everybody. We're about an hour. We're about 4 minutes away from an hour, so I'm gonna call it here. Thank you so much for joining us for this hour chatting about 911 dispatch, and we have over 1,000 likes on TikTok. We're hanging out on YouTube for the first time, so thank you so much for joining me. We will be on tomorrow afternoon, for sure, probably around 4:35 Pacific Standard Time. So we will see you there.